League season 23-24 is finally complete. And the final day was, as always, entertaining. I mean, just look at the amount of goals that were flying in everywhere. A bit of drama as well. And yeah, this is more of a, I guess, review of the entire season, really. Allow me to get my thoughts on, the final league table and stuff. But we'll also talk a little bit about the games and the final day of the title race, top four, and all of that stuff. So yeah, I wanted to also thank you guys for all of your support across this Premier League season, because it's been a fantastic year. We've covered pretty much most of the Premier League this season in depth, and you guys have shown me massive support along the way, so thank you very much for that. And of course, it's not going to end. We have plenty of content even though the Premier League is over, because we do have a Euros coming up, so I'm looking forward to that, and make sure you stick around. But anyway, let's talk about this final day. It was a pretty emotional day, actually. I think I'm going to start with some of those first, because there was a lot of goodbyes, actually. So Brighton Man United, Roberto De Zerbi, a bit of a shock about 2 days ago, announced that he was leaving Brighton by mutual consent, which is a bit of a shock. I did put a poll out asking you guys where you think he's going. You guys think he's going to the Serie A? I think probably as well, or maybe Bayern Munich, but yeah, it seems like there's been some sort of disagreement, mutual thing, where Brighton are like, okay, you want to leave, that's fine, we're not going to sack you, so we'll allow you to go. His final game in charge, first Man United, at least it was announced before the game, because it gave him a nice send-off from the Brighton fans, because he definitely deserved it. He's done a fantastic job, particularly last season, getting them into Europe for the first time, so some fantastic memories along the way for Brighton. And yeah, he got his send-off, although he couldn't get a victory on the final day. There was also a send-off at Chelsea for Thiago Silva. There he is. Yeah, just a bit emotional as well. One of the only, as a Chelsea fan, I was tearing up a little seeing Thiago's goodbye. I think he's probably definitely the last in this team, sort of legend, if you like. And he's maybe not a Chelsea legend. Like, he's not a legend like JD, Lampard, Drogba, Cech, but he's just a level below, because the love he's had for Chelsea is just superb, and he really embraced Chelsea, won the Champions League with us, gave his heart and soul, gave everything for the club, was a real fan's favourite, understood what it meant to be at Chelsea. And yeah, he's going to be missed. He is going to be missed, and it was a bit sad seeing him go. But yeah, Thiago, a Chelsea hero, I should say, Chelsea hero, and he'll definitely go down in Chelsea history. So he had his goodbye. There was, I think that was it, besides the obvious one, of course. I'm trying to think. There was none there. Yeah, so then there was the obvious one at Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp's final game, and I must say, I'm a Chelsea fan, right? To be honest, I'm glad Klopp's gone, because he has dominated with Liverpool. But I was actually quite emotional watching all the goodbyes and stuff. I mean, there was a lot of goodbyes. There was Joao Matip, Thiago also leaving, all of his staff, and yeah, as I said, I was getting pretty emotional as well, just watching it. I mean, what a fantastic legend of a manager Jurgen Klopp is, and good to see him end off on a victory, which is nice for him, and he'll definitely be missed. flashbacks to Sir Alex and Wenger leaving, you know. I think it is that sort of magnitude because Klopp has just been so good for Liverpool. Okay, and before we get into like the title race and stuff, we did of course do a video predicting the final day, so I wanted to look at my predictions and see how many I got right. So Arsenal Everton, I said would be 2-0, Arsenal was 2-1, so I was fairly close. I said Brentford Newcastle would be 2-1, Newcastle was 4-2. I said Brighton would beat Man United 2-1, it was 2-0 Man U, so pretty bad there. I said Burnley would beat Nottingham Forest 3-1, it was 2-1 Forest. I said it would be 2-2 Chelsea Bournemouth, it was 2-1. Crystal Palace Villa, I predicted it being a 3-2 Palace, it was 5-0. I did predict Liverpool would beat Wolves 2-0 and they did. And I also did predict Man City would beat West Ham at 3-1, which they did as well. While Spurs Sheffield I predicted 2-1, it was 3-0. Okay, so let's talk about it then. The title race. So the Premier League table, there is Manchester City, champions again, 91 points. Arsenal finish on 89. Both of them got the job done. I mean, Arsenal were a bit lucky, to say the least, and made real hard work of it. Havertz in the 89th minute, although I don't know how that goal stands. It was a clear handball in the build-up. Literally goes to VAR, goes to the monitor and sees the handball and says it's fine. But I think he just wanted to like add drama to the title race or something. But yeah, I mean, Arsenal just about got over the line, but realistically, no one really thought West Ham were going to do anything, and after 2 minutes, they were already down, and that just sucked the life out of Arsenal. You could see the fans in the stadium just deflated after that goal. Phil Foden, a brilliant first goal, absolutely brilliant. He was voted the Premier League Player of the Season, rightfully so in my opinion, and he proved if anyone thought it shouldn't be him, he proved in this game why it is him. A brace when they needed people to step up. He was a man to deliver Man City the title, as is Rodri as well. I mean, Areola had a howler there, but Rodri, the most clutch player in this Man City side, probably one of the most clutch players in the world, scores yet again on the final day of the season to put the rubber stamp on it. There was, you know, a bit of hope when Kudos scored an insane goal. And also that was at the point where the same time Arsenal equalised, so suddenly, you know, there's a bit of hope here. But then that was quickly gone when Rodri scored. West Ham had their disallowed goal as well through Sojek, and again people thought, oh, you know, in Arsenal a little bit of a buzz came back again, but I think everybody knew that the title was going to be done. Man City got their job done, and yeah, champions once again. It is unfortunate for Arsenal though, because realistically, if you're for Arsenal, where they lost this league title was Aston Villa. It was Aston Villa, and I mentioned this before. They haven't necessarily bottled it, but they could have won this. They really could have, because as I said, it was in their hands at Aston Villa. They win against Aston Villa. They win that game, and you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but they will finish on what, 91 points, or actually yeah, 92. There you go, and they win the league, right? So yeah, they messed that one up, but I think you can be proud if you're an Arsenal fan. The way they ended the season, they did not bottle it. They showed that their mentality has changed. Although they did mess up the Aston Villa game, they did in the end, you know, rally together. And I think it was a case of Man City were just, unfortunately, just too good. They were. I think Arsenal, I think they're in a good place to go again next season, but we will see, because it's going to be tough in terms of that mentality point of view to just go again for saw Liverpool during the Klopp era, right? It was a case of like 2 really intense seasons, and then a dip, and then they went again, right? So I'm not entirely sure if Arsenal can go again next year at this same pace, but it has been a fantastic year for Arsenal. The most points, most wins in a season for Arsenal. They bettered their points tally from last season as well. So although they didn't win the league, I think it's been a good year for Arsenal. But unfortunate for them that they did not win it. As I said, that Aston Villa was really, really the key one, and that was where it was lost. That weekend where Arsenal and Liverpool both lost, and Man City won. I made a video. I said the title is done. Most of us knew the title was done, and it was. But let's talk about Man City though, because Man City, wow, that is 4 in a row. 4 in a row. They are history makers. The first team in Premier League history to do 4 Premier Leagues in a row. Yet another milestone, achievement, record broken by Pep and Man City. And I mean, we're gonna have to have conversations. Really, is this the most dominant era of Premier League football? I mean, statistically, yes, they've won 4 in a row now. They are pretty much turning the league into a farmers' league at this point. Pep Guardiola again. We're gonna have to have those conversations about him being, the best manager of all time. Is he better than Sir Alex? I'm not gonna go into that right now, but this just adds another one. He's broken Sir Alex's record here with 4 in a row now. And the real question is, how many in a row is it actually going to be? Because genuinely, I don't know if this is going to stop, if this will stop for Man City. Because, although I mentioned Arsenal are a fantastic team, as I said, it's just mentally so grueling to challenge Man City 2 years in a row and fail at the last hurdle 2 years in a row, and constantly doing that, right? Because this Man City team is just warriors. They are beasts mentality wise, and I generally think that as long as Pep is here, I think he's gonna keep winning. Man City are gonna keep on winning and winning the league. I wouldn't be surprised, let's say Pep stayed here for another 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised if they won 9 in a row. Like, honestly, they are just insane. 91 points is a really, really good points tally as well. That's something which, people maybe don't think is that big because they've hit 100 and they're used to like the 97 standard, which from a Liverpool set, but 91 is actually a really, really good points tally. Like, that is better than most Premier League champions, but that's nothing to Man City, isn't it? And 3 losses all season. 3 losses all season for Man City is really, really impressive. And I think they actually came, right, like in 2023, if I'm not mistaken, Wolves, Arsenal and Villa. That was all sort of in the December period, right? But since then, they've just been on an absolute tear and superb. And look at this, just winning every single game, the clutch games, the goals were flying in. I think in these last 5 games, Man City have been back to their best. They've been back to their best. They started this season maybe not great, and it's taken them a long time to get going. But this is what they always do when it comes to crunch time. They deliver, and that's exactly what they've been doing. And yeah, full credit to them. Another league title for them. Okay, let's touch on some of the other games and some of the other, I guess, storylines. So, a fantastic game here. Newcastle, Brentford, 4-2 to Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle were 3-0 up at half time and almost made it 3-2. Brentford almost made it 3-3, but Newcastle got to 4-2, and that was a big win because that secures a 7th place for Newcastle. And if Man United don't win the FA Cup where they're facing Man City, I should also mention, I forgot to say that Man City are now on course for a double. And what would that be? Back-to-back doubles position where they could actually have a really good run. We've seen West Ham obviously win it. So I think that's a fantastic opportunity for Newcastle to win a trophy, something they haven't done in a while, get that European experience. They've had a bit of a taste of it in the Champions League, but get that European experience more, really go hard for a trophy. I think that would be superb. And I mean, even if they don't get it, though, 7th place, considering they've literally had, I think, the worst injury crisis in the league by far and away. Like, by far and away. The amount of injuries they've had is ludicrous. And when you consider that, because of that, they've had to play so many players like Paul Dummett, Emil Kraft, Sean Longs, like, so many just bums. And they finished 7th. Massive credit to Eddie Howe. Massive credit to him. They were looking ropey at points this season, but they've really galvanised, and 7th place is a really solid finish. And as I said, if they can get Conference League, that is fantastic, and I would back them to do something in that. Okay, Man United beat Brighton 2-0, as we mentioned. Rasmus Højlund managed to get a goal, making it, I think, 10 goals for him in the Prem, which is a solid first season. But Man United, it wasn't enough, unfortunately, to get into 7th place. They finished 8th place, which is, I believe, their lowest ever Premier League finish, which is so bad. So bad. Yeah, it's not been a good year for United. I mean, they have finished on a bit of a high, back-to-back wins. They could still win the FA Cup and salvage something from this season, and that would get them into Europe as well, into Europa League, which would be an okay season. But if they don't, which, I mean, they're coming up against City, who rarely lose FA Cup finals. So yeah, if they lose that, then I mean, this is an abysmal season. 8th place, no European football, not even Conference League. Really bad, and I think there is going to be huge pressure on Ten Hag in the summer in terms of if he's going to lose his job. It's going to be a big call. I'm not entirely sure. United fans, get in the comments, do you guys actually want him gone? I think a lot of people are split, but I mean, just looking at this, I mean, 8th place is just really bad. I know they had injuries and stuff, but at the end of the day, Newcastle and Chelsea have had really bad injuries and they finished above them, so what's United's excuse? I don't know. Anyway, Nottingham Forest, couldn't end on a high. Nottingham Forest did. Chris Wood against his former club with a brace. A bit of a death drop again. When Nottingham Forest were technically not mathematically confirmed, they needed to get a draw in order to confirm they were staying up, but of course they won, and that meant they have confirmed they are staying up on 32 points. Really poor season for them, but in the end they did stay up. Burnley unable to climb into 18th, finished in 19th place. Luton, Burnley and Sheffield, the 3 promoted sides, getting relegated. I'm not entirely sure when the last time that actually happened, but I don't know. I think that just showed that maybe the gap between the Premier League and Championship was quite big last season. However, I think now, next season, I think the gap has shrunk a lot. I think the 3 promoted sides, who are Ipswich, Leicester and one of Leeds or Southampton, I think those 3 are going to be much better, and I'll be shocked if those 3 actually went down next year. But yeah, not a good look for the Championship, I guess, this season. Chelsea, we secured Europa League football 6th place finish with a 2-1 victory over Bournemouth. Moises Caicedo with an outrageous goal from out of nowhere, from like the halfway line. Superb goal from him. And that also means 5 wins in a row. We end the season on form with Man City and Arsenal. Yeah, pretty mental. 5 wins in a row to completely salvage our season and finish 6th. We get Europa League football, which is, I'll definitely take that. I think we definitely need that. We definitely needed at least Europa League football this season, and we got it. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about Poch. I wanted him out for a lot of the time, but he salvaged the season. Fair play to him. I think he needs to stick around now due to this. And yeah, there's a bit of a buzz now at Chelsea going into next season, which is fantastic. The spirit and the positivity is now back, which is great, because it's been quite a poor negative season, but we have managed to claw our way back, and yeah, I'm happy with a 6th place finish as a Chelsea fan, considering how bad we've been this year. Crystal Palace beat Aston Villa 5-0. Jean-Philippe Mateta with a hat-trick and Eberechi Eze with a brace. Mateta's first hat-trick in a Palace shirt. And wow, I mean, Villa did not care about this game. They were on the beach. We'll talk about them first. They secured top 4, so they couldn't care less about this. And what an accomplishment for Unai Emery and Villa. Top 4 Champions League football, that is superb. It's going to be amazing seeing them back in the Champions League. Unai Emery, definitely a shout for manager of the season. Emery, just the way he's transformed Villa has been superb, and yeah, to finish in top 4 is magnificent. And we'll see if this is something they can build on. You know, Newcastle unfortunately were unable to do that last year, but can Villa do it? I think Villa are in a bit more of a stable position than Newcastle were, and have a better squad than Newcastle did when they achieved it. So I'm optimistic for the hopes of Villa, and I think, you know, this extra money as well could potentially help them. As for Palace though, I really want to talk about them because the way they have ended this season has been nothing short of incredible. Look at this. Unbeaten in their last 5, 4 wins in their last 5. This doesn't even include the West Ham 5-0 drubbing as well. The goals have been flying in: 5 vs Villa, 3 vs Wolves, 4 vs United, 5 vs West Ham as well. Oliver Glasner, wow. I think he's had pretty much the same sort of effect as De Zerbi had last year, where he came in and just completely transformed everything. That's the sort of effect Glasner has had at Palace. Incredible. I thought it was a great appointment when they got him, and I did not expect him both to do this well. The way he has made them just such a free-flowing side. Mateta, before Glasner came in was he was probably not even considered a Premier League level striker. Now he can't stop scoring. This guy is now like one of the best strikers on form in the league. Eberechi Eze and Elise, oh my word, they've been balling out. This front three under Glasner has been superb. The wing backs, Munoz and Mitchell, Wharton, everything is just flowing. 5-0, and they finish 10th. They finish in the top half. I believe this is actually the first time Palace have finished in the top half. They finish above Brighton as well, which is even more sweeter for their fans. And yeah, if they can keep their players, if they can keep Eze and Elise in the summer, which is going to be hard, but it's definitely doable. You know, with Glasner, he can convince them that they're building something. They generally might. They generally could be pushing into those European spots next year, because they are on form, one of the best teams in the league right now, and it's just superb. Fantastic work by Glasner, and what a positive end to the season. Liverpool Wolves, 2-0 Liverpool. Of course, made a red card, clear red card. We'll start with Wolves. Wolves, they completely collapsed at the end of the season, but they did have a lot of injuries. I think it was only like 1 win in their last 10, but as I said, they had a lot of injuries, and I don't particularly blame them, because overall it's still been a really positive year under O'Neill, even if it's fizzled out. Finishing comfortably 14th, you know, they were in like the top half for most of the season as well, when many at the start of the season predicted them to actually get relegated. They were never ever in danger of that, so well done to O'Neill, and a solid year for Wolves. As for Liverpool, yeah, Jurgen Klopp's final season, look, it only ends with a Carabao Cup finishing in 3rd place, which is a bit disappointing. There was at points, you know, it was going to be a quad, right? But if we're looking objectively, 3rd place in a title race for a lot of the season, when you consider the squad, the expectation at the start of the year, if if you would have said at the start of the season Liverpool are going to finish third place with a trophy, a Carabao Cup, I think most people were like, that's a pretty good season. And yeah, it still is. It's good. At least he ends with a trophy. Third place could have been more, but yeah, what a fantastic job Klopp has done at Liverpool. An absolute legend. Luton Fulham ended 4-2, one of those mad games. Raul Jimenez and Adama, little Wolves link up here. Yeah, Luton were pretty much confirmed down. As I talked about, I mean, Luton just didn't have the quality. Unfortunately, none of the promoted sides did this year. But I think maybe, the finances of the Premier League might help them in the Championship. And I think particularly Luton and Burnley are going to give it a real good go, and I wouldn't be shocked if they came straight back up next year. Fulham, really solid year as well, kind of similar to Wolves in terms of maybe it fizzled out, but a lot of people feared for them at the start of the season with Mitrovic gone. They never really replaced him well. People had them down there, but they were never ever in danger of that. And comfortably mid-table, what a job Marco Silva has done there, and I think he's a really, really underrated manager. What he's done at Fulham, he's taken them from the Championship to a now established mid-table Prem side. Superb, absolutely superb. And finally, Sheffield United 0, Spurs 3. Yeah, a pretty, I guess, fitting ending to Sheffield's season. A drumming, as they have been all season long. They've been slapped up. Spurs finished 5th. Look, disappointing they didn't get top 4, but kind of similar, I would say, to Liverpool their season in terms of at the start of the year, if you would say Spurs finished 5th, 2 points away from Champions League, I think most Spurs fans would say, okay, that's a decent year. And because a lot of people with Kane gone, new manager, a lot of people even had them outside of the top 7. So I think that's a solid year, good year for Ange to build upon. There was some really good stuff, really good play in there. And as Matthew mentioned in my last video, Europa League's going to be really good for them next season because that's something they can build on. That's a chance at a trophy for sure, and it's going to be good European experience. See how Ange does in Europe with Spurs. So yeah, not bad. But overall then, that is the Premier League season complete. If I'm going to talk generally about the season, I think it was a really good year. Very entertaining. We had a 3-horse race in the title. Maybe the title was a bit disappointing race in terms of the title race. The way it sort of fizzled out, the way Liverpool collapsed and Arsenal, City just easily went through and won the league. Wanted a little bit more drama there. The top 4 race was interesting. We got that surprise factor of Villa. I think Villa are probably my overachievers for sure this season. Spurs did pretty well. I think the top 4 race was okay. The race for Europe, I would say from 6th to 9th, these teams were just so weird. So weird. All 4 of these at points this season probably hated their managers, hated their teams, thought they were going to have a disastrous year. And in the end, probably United had a disastrous year, West Ham had a mid-year, Newcastle and Chelsea had an okay year. Yeah, just a weird lot here. There was a lot of really solid teams as well in terms of like Bournemouth, Fulham, Wolves. I forgot to mention about Bournemouth, fantastic work by them and Iraola in his first season. Yeah, I think these guys, actually I'll include Everton in this, were really solid, just established mid-table sides and played some good football at points. And then these guys did not have a good year. Brentford and Forest got away with it, and the promoted sides had an abysmal year, especially Sheffield. So yeah, overall I loved this season. Hope you guys did as well. As I said at the start of the video, we have plenty more content, don't you worry. So make sure to subscribe. And if you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and I will see you in another video. Peace.